Hey my YouTube lovelies, I'm just pretty much coming to you mainly just to try out another camera that I'm using because my camcorder's died and my boyfriend, the great guy that he is letting me use his camera. I've been trying to convince him that he should just give me this camera because this camera's awesome! It's 10 times better than any other camera I've ever had. This camera's great and I really wish he would just give it to me. He should just give it to me. And I'll let him borrow it anytime that he needs it. So if you're watching this video, you should just give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Please, 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 please. But what have I been up to? Working and trying to stay cool. It's freaking hot out. I don't know anybody up in Northeast. I don't know if it's the same in the South or anything else, but right now we are going through a heat wave. And it's nothing worse than when they tell you, oh yeah, it's like 98 degrees today, but this isn't the worst of it. Wait until Saturday, wait until Friday, and we're like, great. And I know it's going to be really bad because this weekend I'm going up to the mountains of Pennsylvania, where my boyfriend lives, and it's supposed to be like 100 degrees up there. And when it's 100 degrees in the mountains, that means it's hot because it's usually like a little cooler up there than it is down in our part. So yeah, it did one of those things last night where we had like a torrential downpour, like crazy thunderstorm, and it was a great night. But then just as cool as it was this morning and last night, the heat went right back up. So yeah. What else? What did we do the other weekend? We went tubing, which was interesting because anyone that knows me will know I do not like venturing off into any water that is not controlled like a swimming pool. I do not like rivers. I do not like oceans, particularly oceans, because oceans just don't like me. I have gotten pulled under by undertows on 3 separate occasions and they tried to keep me. So I really don't like oceans. But this is the first time I ever went in a river. So I get a phone call from my boyfriend that we're going tubing over the weekend. I was like, okay, cool, great, I'm down with tubing. And I'm thinking like it's like one of those tubing tour groups because they have like, you know, they rent tubes or kayaks or whatever else. And, you know, you pay a fee, and you go down the river, you know. It's pretty much like a controlled kind of thing, even though it's in the river, but it's controlled because it's like a tourist kind of thing. They give you life jackets, everything. So I go to my boyfriend's house, and he's like, meet me at Walmart. I'm like, okay. So I meet him at Walmart, and he has like 2 boxes in his hand of tubes that we have to blow up. I was like, okay, those are our tubes. It's like, yes, because this is not a guided tour that we're going on. This is a tour that all of us have just decided that we're going to get together and float down a river. We're going to float down a river. We're just going to get together and float down. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like running around the store looking for a freaking life jacket because I'm like, forget this. I ain't messing with y'all. I'm like, I am not messing with y'all. So couldn't find a life jacket. So I was like, all right. They're like, the river's not that deep. And for me, anytime somebody's talking about a river's not that deep, for me, in my head, any river that you go down is freaking like deep beyond any kind of means. So I was just like, all right, I'm trusting them. A couple of them have done this before. Mind you, there's like about 9, 10 of us or something like that. So I'm like, all right. So we go down, meet everyone up, get the air pump, praying that my Walmart tube lasts, and pump my tube up, and we go floating down a river. And I did get a life jacket because my boyfriend was going to kayak down the river because someone had a kayak, and I grabbed his life jacket out the kayak because I was like, just give me a freaking life jacket to make me at least feel good about this whole entire situation. But I didn't even need it. I didn't need it at all. The river, there was deep parts of the river, but the river wasn't deep at all. I mean, to the point like some of the rapids we went over, we had to actually lift our butts up because other than that our butts would have hit the rocks when we were trying to go down the river. So it was a good experience. It was something I think I've I didn't think I would ever do. We went tubing down the river. Their friends found an inflatable like a cooler, so they put ice in it and beer. So we not were only floating down the river, but we were drinking as we were floating down the river. Had beer, and we had sandwiches, and we were all tied together. All the tubes were tied together, so we could pass beer to each other and pass sandwiches to each other while floating down the river for like 4 hours. Yeah, that's what I did, but it was awesome. So if none of you guys have ever tried it, you must try it. It's like the craziest thing ever. It's the best. And the only part that freaked me out about going again is that we stopped off during our trek down the river at this little piece of land, and just to take a rest or whatever else, and it was like really muddy over there. And even though I did have like the water shoes on, mind you, did have the water shoes on, so it's not like I was stepping in the mud, because gosh knows I don't know what I was stepping on, but I'm trying to think about it. But when we got back onto the tubes and everything was floating, and I was taking my shoes off to clean whatever may have gotten in my shoes, I noticed there was a freaking leech on my leg. I was like, oh my god. I was like, rivers have leech? I don't know why I didn't think that rivers had leeches, but they have leeches. I had a freaking leech on my leg. Luckily I got it before it decided to like really get on, like attached or whatever, but it freaked me out because, so I mean, I want to do the experience again, but the whole entire leech thing, it just is spazzing me out. And then after that, I went and looked on YouTube about leeches, and I think I spazzed myself out even more. But that's what I've been up to. I'll be sure to take you guys with me this weekend, definitely, because I'll have his camera and everything else while we're on our outings. I have no idea what we're doing this weekend. I have no idea. But I'll check you guys later. Peace.